In today's video, I'm going to answer the question, how do I get people to listen to me even though I don't have a formal title? Now, this is a common dilemma for so many professionals. Maybe it's somebody just entering into the workforce, or maybe someone who is not a supervisor or a manager in their work environment because they're a specialist, or perhaps they haven't been promoted, they're aspiring to those types of positions, or really they're someone who doesn't want to have a formal title, but at the same time, they want to influence others. They want to be perceived as a leader, someone who's seen as a competent professional and whose ideas are worth listening to. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 strategies on how to get people to listen to you, even though you may not have a formal title. The first strategy is just to be courageous and raise your hands whenever you have the opportunity to during meetings. When the meeting leader goes, does anyone have any additional thoughts, any additional ideas, any additional comments? Be courageous, raise your hand, and share your thoughts. Add to the conversation. This may seem scary at first. It may feel uncomfortable. However, the more you do it, the more confident you'll get. And this is an environment and a situation where people are going to be a little bit more receptive to hearing from you because they actually asked for your thoughts or people's thoughts and comments. So the first strategy is simply to raise your hand during meetings. The second strategy is to nurture your relationships at work, whether it's with your supervisors or your colleagues or people in other departments. Greet them in the hallway. Say hello to them whenever you get a chance. Check in with them, send them messages just to say hi. Build relationships, have conversations about topics outside of work, and do this over the course of time. And over the course of time, you develop a relationship, you develop a rapport, you develop trust, and then all of a sudden, people are much more likely to listen to what you have to say because you have a foundation of having a good relationship. So that's the second strategy. Build your network and have conversations with people over the course of time. The third strategy is to precede your words and your thoughts and your ideas with your actions and your reputation. And you do this by having high standards. Accept the idea that everyone is always observing you in some fashion. They're looking at your professionalism, they're looking at your standards, they're looking at the work that you put out, they're looking at how you conduct yourself over the course of time. And the byproduct of all those put together forms your reputation. And your reputation is essentially the door opener to getting people to listen to you. If you have a very good reputation, even though you may not have a formal title, people will listen to you. In fact, you've probably seen this where there's a leader who has a formal title, but who has a terrible reputation. No one listens to them. Yet there's someone within the team, within the organization, who may not have a formal title, but has a very good reputation as being a consummate professional, someone who always does what they say, the person who really sets the standard, sets the bar, who helps others. And when they speak, others listen. So that's the third strategy. Have high standards, have your actions speak for you so you develop a strong reputation. The fourth strategy is for people who may struggle with public speaking or communicating one-on-one or in a group setting. Oftentimes this can cause a lot of nervousness and anxiousness, and you end up saying things that perhaps you regret, you didn't want to say, or you communicate the message in a way that you had not really intended, and the action kind of backfires. And you are perhaps seen as less of a professional, or in your mind and the mind of others, you may come across as not being as competent and as creative as you perhaps wanted to with your ideas. And the strategy here is to write an email. Email gives you the ability to write, rewrite, rewrite, and rewrite as many times as you need to, and even use ChatGPT to help you if you need to clarify your message, to ensure that it conveys the message as well and as clear as you possibly want it to be. And then you send it to the individual that you're trying to influence, and they have a chance to really digest and process what it is you're trying to communicate. So this is a very simple and powerful way to be heard, even though you don't have a formal title. And also, for those of you who may struggle with public speaking or communicating effectively and persuasively one-on-one. So the strategy is to write an email. The fifth strategy is a strategy that you can use if you don't want to come across like you're coming out of left field. And what I mean by this is sometimes when we have an idea and we don't have a formal title and we present the idea and it's really way off, it really perhaps conflicts with what everybody else is thinking, people just ignore us and like, oh, that person's way off. But if you present it and frame it in a way that builds off of an idea that somebody else who perhaps has a formal title or who has perhaps more influence than you has presented, then people may be more receptive to listening to you. So you may say something like, well, I'd like to build off of what Stephen said, and I'd like you to think about it this way, right? that phrase or that small phrase, I'd like to build off of what Steven said. It's something that we take from improv where people go, yes, and. Because if you think about a lot of meetings, what people do and say that can often lead to conflict is they go, yes, but. And that automatically creates a little bit of conflict with what the other person said. And if you're a person who doesn't have much influence and who wants to influence others, saying yes and is a powerful way to do that. I'd like to build off of X. So that is the fifth strategy. So there you have it, 5 strategies to get people to listen to you and take you seriously, even though you may not have a formal title. Good luck.